Hello, Danik. Hello, zucchini. I know I have no idea if that's exactly what you're going for, but the temptation to say zucchini is it's just too strong. I just can't stop myself. So okay, maybe I should pump out announcements. Zucchini is fine. Awesome. On Twitch. Okay, I think I did all the spam. So what is on the plate today? Zine server improvements. There's a buffer size patch that we need to merge. Well, we're not going to merge it precisely, but we're going to kind of port it to the new branch. We're going to re-implement the bouncing. We had the bouncing implemented in the old version. Um, I guess I'm going to steal some of that code and re-implement it again. Publish saying snap. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And then we want to also show errors on the page. So the idea is you open, like you have, this is by the way, I added more copy um, to the sample website. So the idea is you have a page open, you want to see error messages also show up in here. So we need to do that. We need to do that as well. And we already have some code for showing errors. It's just that we need to basically glue that back. And then maybe this time we can do it better than we did the last time. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by grabbing a cup of tea and easing into the work. It's the 10-minute countdown with restarting, making tea, and chatting. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I've worked with so many static site generators that I have PTSD from migrating. Lots of writing between lots of writing importers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. So I already announced what I want to work on. As usual, if anybody wants um, to ask any Zig related question, any Zig related question or Zine related question, feel free to ask. There's a lot of like very nice stuff ahead of us for when it comes to Zine. I'm really looking forward to that. So sorry, just doing some chores, looking into things, then I'll be right back. I mean, I'm here. I'm just focused on the monitor that you cannot see, unfortunately. To do. Hmm. Okay. Let's get on with our plans. Okay, while we sip the tea and wait for the last few minutes to go by, I think there were like a couple interesting things, either on Lobsters or on Hacker News, that were interesting. So this one is a video. I watched it earlier. Well, it's excerpt, excerpt. How do you pronounce this? Well, it's a piece of a longer interview where Antirez claims that he wants to make Redis open source again. Uh, good luck to him. Absolutely good luck to him. Introduction to Mono.io, a high-performance Rust runtime. What? Yeah, so V8 is leaving Sea of Nodes. That's also mildly interesting, maybe. Although I don't have like direct experience with this stuff, so. Um, database protocols are underwhelming. What? Um, this one was interesting. Rest in peace, Django's framework problem. Okay, let's take a look at this news. Introduction to Mono.io, a high-performance Rust runtime. What does that mean? What's a Rust runtime specifically? A potential client approached me with a request to build the fastest HTTP proxy in Rust using the Mono.io runtime. This led me into several days of research to determine if Mono.io was mature enough for an HTTP proxy implementation and what that would look like. The client decided not to move the project forward. What is Mono.io? Okay, it's an async thing. It's an event loop. Created by ByteDance. Okay. Threadpair core, IO ORing, unique IO abstraction. In Tokyo STD, you provide a reference to a buffer during IO operation and maintain ownership. In Mono.io, you give ownership of the buffer to the runtime known as rent. There's what? Which returns it to you once the operation completes. Okay. Cool. I think I've read enough. Yeah, so basically the V8 is going from a bunch of nodes to chunkier nodes. To-doom. Okay. Database protocols are underwhelming. You've been in this trade for a while. You have probably seen dozens of debates on the merits and problems of SQL and relational databases as a relational database query language. As an OR maintainer, I have a few gripes with SQL, but overall it's workable, and anyway, it has so much inertia that there is no point fantasizing about a replacement. However, one database adjacent topic, which I don't think I've ever seen any discussions about, and that I think could be improved, is the protocols exposed by these databases to execute queries. Relational databases are very impressive pieces of technology. The current protocol makes me wonder if they ever consider being used by anything other than a human typing commands in a CLI interface. Okay, I'm not sure I follow, but let's see. Also happen to maintain the Redis client for Ruby. And while the Redis protocol is far from perfect, I think there are some things it does better than Postgres, MySQL, which are the two I'm somewhat familiar with, blah, blah, blah. Set client min messages to warning, set standard conforming strings, interval style, time zone to UTC. Okay. Safe retries. Idempotency keys. Well, idempotency keys, sure, you can have those. They're just like not free. Multi-store expire 10. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's not simple at all conceptually. It's not simple at all. All this stuff comes with a ton of warnings. Prepare statements, okay. Evalsha. I don't know. Okay, I think it's time. It's time to start working on it. So, oh shit. I splashed tea on my keyboard. No. Oh no. Oh no. Should be fine though. Okay. Should still be fine. Hopefully my keyboard still works. We're gonna see in a moment, I guess, if that's the case. But it should be fine, I think. Okay. What do we want to start with? We want to start with merging this PR. Okay. Keyboard check. Yeah, we're good. We're gonna start with going to the repository, looking at PRs. There's 2 PRs. Uh-oh, I pressed S and it didn't show up the first time. I hope this is not the T doing weird shit to my keyboard. Thanks for fixing this. I hope it's JavaScript, not the keyboard. Okay, let's actually do the implementation work. So what they ended up doing is just create a constant and increase the size of this buffer. For 1 kilobyte apparently is not enough. And so they change it to something bigger, give a name to that constant, which is not a bad idea. So we have max connection header size. I think I'm fine with it being lowercase. And then down here, okay. So that was actually very trivial. So all right, I forget that you can also do this stuff. Can we change this? I can't change. Oh shit. No, I closed it. I can change it. Holy cow. I didn't know that I could change it. I didn't know that you could do this. I thought that you could only rename, not change the branch. Holy cow. Hello, Ice. Hello, hello. Where's my cursor? Where's the cursor now? What is going on? I don't know. Whose fault is this? Not the keyboard. The keyboard eats tea and then doesn't care. The JavaScript web page, man, one thing changes, one speck of dust is not in the right place, and now everything is broken. I just learned that I can change the. And we might also want to push to help with that. Actually, wait a second. What's in my git log? String table means usage. Okay, so we hello Zine serve. Well, okay, let's use the longer threshold. To implement the live server functionality, so this was the main change. The second big change. Do I have local dependencies? I bet you that I have local dependencies. Fuck, I have local dependencies. This one we don't want. This one we need to fix. Okay, so this is gonna be a force push. What did we do to super HTML? Where did Tracy? Okay. Does this PR somehow suffer for this? No. Out of curiosity, what does the conflict stuff look like? Okay, nothing major. Okay, so we were good. Let's re-add the bouncing back. I think the bouncing will require us to have another thread, yet another thread. Man, these threads, once you have one, you can never stop. You just need to have an endless amount of those. So, in your side, so we're gonna go in serve, and in serve we have a switch up top. We have change, connect, disconnect. Now with change, I think, okay, so the question is, who owns the debouncing? I think the debouncing should not be in the file watcher. Also, oh, here's also what we need. Oh man, this is gonna be the next thing. Linux and Windows file watchers. Of course. Oh, and here's another one. macOS cross compilation. We also need to, previously we didn't worry about cross compilation, now we worry about it more. Oof, okay. Okay. What watcher does Zine use? I have 3 custom-made implementations. You are welcome to them. I would say macOS one, pretty good. Windows one, also pretty good because it works and I've never heard any complaint. Linux one, I'm not happy with. I think I would change it to use FA notify instead of I notify, and I will try to mirror what Zig does more closely. Also, now that I think about it, in my case, I don't have pretty much any lifecycle management because you run serve and then you just keep it on forever. But you probably will want to have something that adds and removes stuff, maybe. Also, last thing, the macOS watcher that I have uses an API that listens on directories. So the thing that you register is a directory, not a single file. So if you only care, for example, about a single file, then basically you need to watch its parent directory. Honestly, I don't think it's a huge deal, but be aware of that. That said, I think that the macOS one is using it's the best one. It's better than the Zig one because we use the native API. We don't use the ShiDK event API. But yep, just be aware of those things. I recommend you check out the code inside the standalone branch, not the main branch, because that one is a little bit more stale and is a little bit more janky, in my opinion. Can you ignore? I'm not sure. I think that filtering of those events will have to be done by you. I might be wrong. You have to look into. You know what? That's actually a good point. Like, what if I also maybe would like to ignore hidden directories? Let me look into this. So when you create a stream, you say, this is the callback. This is the context of your callback. An array of paths to watch. Since when? And there's like flags. What are those flags? Yeah, no shit. What are those flags, dude? Why does Apple have only S documentation? Why don't they have like non-S documentation? Okay, FS event string create flags. None. CF types, not defer. Watch root. Ignore self. File events. Mark self. Full history. Use extended data. Okay. Let's see what these are. None. The default. CF types. The framework will invoke your callback function with CF types rather than row C types. Jesus. Yeah, no, we don't want that. Thank you. No defer. Affects the meaning of the latency parameter. If you specify this flag and more than latency seconds have elapsed since the last event, your app will receive the event immediately. The delivery of the event resets the latency timer, and any future event will be delivered after the latency seconds have elapsed. This flag is useful for apps that are interactive and want to react immediately to changes, but avoid getting swamped by notifications when changes are occurring in rapid succession. If you do not specify this flag, then when an event occurs after a period of no events, the latency timer is started. Any events that occur during the latency... So, okay, it's basically... Normally, there's like a debouncing thing that happens. And this is saying, yeah, no, don't use it as debouncing. Use it as like... I don't know, like a frequency counter. Okay, like don't, so that things don't get spammed. Let's see. Request notifications of changes along the path to the paths you're watching. For example, with this flag, if you watch foobar and it is renamed to foobar old, you would receive a root changed event. The same is true if the directory foo were renamed. The event you receive is a special event. The path of the event is the original path that you specified with the flag root change is set to the event ID 0. Root change events are useful to indicate that you should rescan a particular hierarchy because it changed completely, as opposed to the things inside of it changing. If you want to track the current location of a directory, it's best to open the directory before creating the stream, so you'd have the file descriptor for it and can issue get packed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Ignore self. Don't send events that were triggered by the current process. Huh, that's not bad. Useful for reducing the volume of events that are sent. This is only useful if your process might modify the file system hierarchy beneath the path. Cool. Full history. No description. Full, sure. Use extended data, no description. Doc ID, no description. Okay, so, I mean, at least we got something out of it. So neurosite, long story short, no, you have to do that kind of filtering yourself. With the iNotify API, since you have to, so iNotify is awful because you have to, like, you can't listen to something recursively. Like, you can't listen to a subtree. You have to listen to individual directories. And if that directory contains another directory, then you have to scan and also add a watch for that subdirectory. It's stupid. But the upside is that then you can skip directories that you don't like that way. That said, I think that you shouldn't worry about having to filter out changes like this, assuming that the API has that concept, the concept of like not spamming you with notification. Yeah, I'm curious about FA Notify. Provides notification and perception of system events. Okay. File directories, file system amounts for which events should be created. Mark system adds a file directory, file system or mount to a notification group and specifies which events shall be reported or ignored, or removes and modifies such entry. Then there's the event queue, reading events. Okay. Mm-mm. Okay, wait. Does he? I assume that this should be like recursive. Is it not recursive? I thought it was recursive. Uh, let's see. A possible usage of the ignore mask is for a file cache. Events of interest for a file cache are modification of a file and closing of the same. Hence, the cache directory or mount is to be marked to receive these events. What is this thing trying to say? After receiving the first event informing that the file has been modified, the corresponding cache entry will be invalidated. No further notification events for this file are of interest until the file is closed. Hence, the modify event can be added to the ignore mask. Upon receiving the close event, the modify event can be removed from the ignore mask and the file cache entry can be updated. The entries in the FA notify notification groups refer to files and directories via the inode number and to mounts via their mount ID. If files or directories are renamed or moved within the same mount, the respective entries survive. If files or directories are deleted, moved, or another blah, blah, blah. I assume that this would at least do recursion for you, but it doesn't do shit. Man, I don't know. Yeah, it's annoying. I see. Well, you know what? Fuck FA notify for now. I don't care. Okay, let's add back the bouncing. Oh, look at this comment. There we go. So we have the bounce as a setting, blah, blah, blah. How does it work? This is a rebuild thread. So the way it would work is that file change shouldn't trigger a rebuild, but file change does something else. And then we have another type of event for rebuild, like rebuild basically, like this. And so change instructs the bouncing thread, and then rebuild does the rebuild. Do you have any issues with the iNotify version? Maybe I can help fix it. Actually, no, I do not. I don't have any. I think my implementation is slightly simple, more than slightly. I think my implementation is simplified because I don't I don't have life cycle management for it. Meaning, I don't have any concept of now I'm gonna stop watching this directory and now I'm gonna stop and now I'm gonna start watching something else after we started. Um, which maybe I should implement eventually. That would probably be a good idea. But I guess my point is that my implementation is also like not. It's simpler because it doesn't do everything, full lifecycle management. But no, it works. The only part that I find annoying is that you have to manually scan a directory and registers directories, which I find silly because while you have race conditions there potentially, because it means that as you are recursing directories, something could get created, and then you don't know about it. Um, so I don't know. It's just annoying that you have to do the bookkeeping, the extra work, and then it's kind of a unsound API for watching. While macOS gives you what is, in my opinion, a significantly better API. There's obviously like an associated cost. So I don't know. Maybe in the end, the macOS one is just, I don't know, slow compared to iNotify. Maybe not. But so far for my use, the Mac one is pretty good. And the Windows one actually is decent as well. I never had. So long story short, no. So far I think they all work. I just don't love the iNotify one. Okay, so now change is gonna be what triggers what interacts with the rebuild thread. So we need to do this. So we need to create a rebuild thread. We need to create. We need to have a cascade window MS thing. So let's add the bounce as a setting to this bad boy, because I think that so far we don't even have that many commands. The bounce MS. The bounce. U16. So that these two guys can be together and make a U32. Okay, let's do the parsing. We basically want to copy the code for port. Okay, let's see how that works. We are looking for the bounce equal. If we find it, we strip it. We try to parse it. Base 10. By the bounce value. Okay, so we set the bounce, and then now here we do dot. The bounce equals, or else 50 milliseconds. Now I'm starting to remember why things add delay. You know what? Let's default to 25 maybe. Let's assume perform on computer. Also Zig help. Delay. Really? Zig build help. Oh shit, I'm dumb. Am I dumb? No, I'm not dumb. Okay, what happened here? Oh, it's dash dash help. God damn it. There we go. I'm gonna copy this line. I'm gonna steal it. And they default to? They don't say to what they default. Or let's default to 25 in any case. Zero? No, I don't think you want to have zero ever. We can check, but I don't think you normally want to have zero. Because you always have flurries of events that come from people like you, actually. People like you, the write text editors, usually do like create flurries of changes to files. It's never just one, so you never want that to uh, translate to a one-to-one to a bunch of rebuilds. Oh, come on. How do you do this? Is it Z space FMT? Yes. Okay. So there's that. Um, then what else? Well, then we have the value inside CMD. So we know how much we want to debounce. Then we need to create a debounce thread, I guess. I guess I am gonna create it down here. I don't even know if we need a struct. Maybe just a function is enough. Let's see what we had in here. Cascade mutex, cascade condition, cascade start. Yes, we had these things. Copy. I'm gonna put these guys in here. This dude can be a singleton, so it's fine. Global memory is fine. I don't know. Frankly, the same would be for the server, but I don't know. Well, whatever. The bouncer. The bouncer. May I ask what you do for your work as in your full-time job? I work at the Zig Foundation. And my full-time job is my title is VP of Community. I'm in the core team, and I do don't know a bunch of Zig-related things. You are watching me at my day job right now. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. Okay, we're saying on input change, we want to lock the cascade mutex, set cascade start, and then signal. So copy these. So this is going to be start new change or new event, but just new event. And in here we do this. Thread saved. We call when a new event comes in. And then let's see. Cascade mutex lock. Okay, I'm gonna copy a bunch of this stuff. We have 3 lines that were changed. So the debug stuff is actually extraneous. Pub function. This is like I don't know, notify. It's kind of like these. These lines shouldn't be there. Yep. So that's how it works. And then we have start. Hmm. Uh, Okay, so this should be fine. So new event. So what we're missing here is the side effect, I believe. So we should be the one that we sleep on the condition, which we are. We have slept enough. Commit the cascade window to trigger a build. We created args. Oh, this was literally doing the build. Okay, so I need to reread this code to make sure that it all makes sense. Yeah, but that should be kind of it. And then in here, instead, we need to have a channel. So we need to do put revealing in a channel. Okay. You know what? Let's change this to change. I think I now know how I want these things to work out in the end. So this is notified. This puts stuff in change. Okay. So new event sets cascade start at the current timestamp, sends a signal. Here, if cascade start is 0, then there is no active cascade, so we just sleep. If we wake up and exit this while loop, then cascade was different than 0. So we look at how much time has passed. If time has passed, if the time that has passed is not greater than cascade window MS, which we don't have. Okay, so if not enough time has passed, we unlock the mutex, decide how much we want to sleep, and call sleep on that. After we sleep, we want to lock the mutex again. Break if enough time has passed. Go here, do this, and then release the lock. And then relock again. That works for me. Okay, so this is the debouncer. So let's make one. Serve. We make a TCP server. No, this is the server. We want the main function to do up here. Okay, so here we're making starting workers, making one build, starting a channel, starting a watcher. The watcher shouldn't get a channel anymore. I should be like this. And then we actually want to give a pointer to the debouncer, to the watcher, and we want to start the debouncer first. Does the touch need to try? No. Okay, so we start the bouncer. We pass a pointer to the debouncer. Doesn't even need to be pointer to the bouncer. Yeah, no, it has to be a pointer to the debouncer. The watcher needs to know about the debouncer, otherwise there's no way for this to work. Unless we made it a singleton. If we had made it a singleton, then things would be better. But that's fine. Okay, yeah, serve.debouncer. That's what you get here. Make us callback. Watcher.debouncer. Dot signal. New event. New event. Okay, so this guy has access to the debouncer, which sends us a thing. Honestly, yeah, nah, never mind. Okay, so we have our own debouncer. Server is fine. So now in event, we have change that comes from the debouncer. Debouncer causes the build. Okay. What? Let's do build errors at this point. Build first try? What? Can we trust it? Can we actually trust it? Yeah, okay. It's just one entry. It only adds one of these guys every time we change something, so it seems to be working reasonably. Let's change the bounce to something outrageous. Oh, let's do Zine serve help. Oh shit, we're not erroring out on unexpected arguments. We need to do that. Okay, so this is all good. Let's complain about unknown arguments. I think this needs to be like a chain of else if. Mm, before the or, after the or, after the or. Okay, and then else. Okay, let's try again. Okay. Cool. So this is 5 seconds of debounce. This means that now if I make a change and then another one, it shouldn't show up. So change doesn't show up. Make another change, it doesn't show up. 3, 2, 1. Now it shows up. Okay. We got it. Missing argument to debounce. Okay. So we got the bouncing back. Now we need to update the other file watchers for the other platforms. Right? You know also how we can do this, I think. We can do this. We can do help message, and then at the very bottom, put it here. I think this is a decent solution. Okay, so with this, with this, oh, we also have this. Oh. Let's make this work also for. Oh man, I forgot that I had mocked this. So the directories that we listen to are the assets path, the layout path, and then content, which is super hard coded. But we can't do that. So we need to do something better. So we need to do var. There's 2 paths. There's to watch. Yeah, there's to watch. We're duplicating these two guys. Oh my freaking god. What a disaster. Huh? Yeah, we need to dupe all of them. It doesn't matter what it is, it needs to be duped. Hey, Mlug. So we append that. And then for build.cfg, well, we have to switch. Well, at this point, we have variants, though. Nah, better switch. Append slice? No. Oh, no, it's more complicated than this. Wait. So we need to do... We need to append I18N. Yep. And everything needs to be duplicated necessarily. Okay. Okay. Okay, so with this, we should be watching real directories. What am I doing? There's a dupe that doesn't have an argument. Any other bad dupe? No. All good dupes. Still working. Does this work on the official Zig website? I don't think I've even attempted it yet. Missing build asset. God damn it, these build assets. I think we're gonna get the same issue though, aren't we? Unexpected CLI argument dash build asset. Yeah, actually, build assets can be defined also for serve. Obviously, they have to. They have to. They have to. Oh man, this is such an annoying integration problem. But we need to fix it. We need to make this work to have a, a full implementation. Such is life. Also, you know what? I think we need key clicks. Key clicks. We need. That's what we need. So the problem here is this. The problem is that we have the CFG parsing part too intertwined with the rest of the build. We need to separate those things. Yeah, this will make this whole thing way less awkward if we just do that. So let's do that. So let us do that. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom very quickly, put up another cup of tea, and then we continue making this thing real. Implement it bit by bit. Let's go. Man, this is so good. Like, there's a bunch of work to do, and it's always annoying that there's like, oh man, right, to make this real, we also need to do that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. There's always something more. But at the same time, none of these things is like, oh no, this problem is like, our whole architecture is completely wrong. It's like, there's no way of making this work. We can only hack around this. No, there's none of that. All can be done. Just requires a little bit of work. We are firmly down the right path, which is nice. Okay, I'll be right back. Yo, I'm back. 19607 has been vanquished. What's that one? Restricted function types. Sorry, I'm gonna snoop quickly into your like self recursion stuff. Let's see. Indirect calls through function pointers are a major blocker for safe recursion and async ways to change resume. Okay. Well, a solution can be designed for a generic use case. There's always seems to be some core function pointer usage, often related to interfaces, that breaks the generic solution. The proposal is intended to provide a way to represent some common usages of function pointers, particularly in interfaces, in a way that is both more optimizable and decoupled from various difficulties and decisions, design problems. Okay. Operation has a vtable to operate. Okay. Add one is one such operation. Adds one. Sounds good. Then you have double. Then you have negate. Test operation. Okay. When the optimizer sees the indirect call, it would be nice if we could know that all of the possible callees are pure, or other useful properties that hold for all callees. This would be easily determinable by iterating all of the callees, but that requires knowing all of the callees in the first place. In a more complicated example, it would be easy for an operation to come from somewhere where the optimizer is not sure which table it holds, and it's forced to assume that vtable operate could mutate any and all global state. Proposal. In the pursuit of these goals, I propose having a language syntax that allows the compiler to be able to collect a complete list of all possible callees and communicate these to the optimizer at each call site. Here's a tentative syntax proposal. I'm sure it could be improved, but this seems to demonstrate the idea. Operation. Operate. Const operate restrict callees. Okay. These may only call add one, operate, double operate, or negate. Why? Because we do a locally pointer of a locally. Okay. And this is basically like a special typecast in a sense. The way this works is that some syntax like restrict callees creates a function type that does not compare equal to other function types of the same signature. And instead, this produces a unique type in the same way as a container type definitions, where the combination of the source location and capture values determines equality. Allow callee casts a comp type known function value to the result restricted function type, checking that the signature is compatible and slotting it into that list of callees. It would be checked illegal behavior to make an indirect call through a pointer to a restricted function type, when the value of that pointer is not in the set of possible keys that were analyzed during compilation. Additionally, restricted function types, which by the way, this has a nice side effect of well, I was about to say catching more easily when you have like a vtable that is garbage, but I guess if you have a vtable that is garbage, you most likely just die there because you're trying to call into a pointer that isn't a function pointer. Although, do you die when you do this? I guess maybe if it's unaligned, if it's not aligned well, then you die. But if it is aligned well, like if it happens to be a valid pointer value with the correct alignment, you don't die, right? You just jump into it, and then you probably die at the first instruction right after, because it's maybe not even an instruction. But like catching this stuff in a nicer way than that would be cool. Like you get an error that says, dude, this is not a good function pointer. What are you doing? Additionally, restriction function types will be required to be call convention auto, because this feature is not designed to handle function pointers passed to and from external code and to facilitate the aforementioned safety checks. As an example implementation in the LLVM backend, a metadata node forward reference could be reserved first time an indirect call to a given restricted location type is encountered and attached to every indirect call through that restriction function type. Okay, so this is like LLVM specific stuff. Open questions. Is already legal behavior. Okay, so okay. 50 minutes ago from mlug. Yeah. That's so. I exactly. That's what I was trying. I was like thinking about, because I thought that could be nice, and then I remember that I wasn't exactly even sure precisely what it is that happens when you try to call into a function pointer that is garbage. But then I think I'm remembering correctly that you kind of get like kind of a ugly error. This making it a nicer error would be nice in debug or whatever. Let's see. How does this interact with incremental? I don't know. You guys figure it out. Let's see what else. Is it useful to introduce a restricted function pointer class that casts a runtime known normal function pointer into a compatible restricted function pointer and safety checks that the runtime function pointer is one of the analyze allowed calls? Let's see. One downside of my idea above is that it would make this somewhere between difficult and essentially impossible. However, I don't think this is a desirable feature. The whole point here is to determine characteristics of the program which are statically known at compile time, but are more complex than we know from the direct function call graph alone. Personally, I would need to see a quite compelling use case to add this kind of runtime cast operation into the mix. Yeah. I'm sure that somebody would pop up out of the woods and say, man, I wanted to do this thing. Why can't I? But it makes sense. This seems a very cool feature. Okay, we probably need to have more context though around it, probably. Like, because I think that this alone seems cool, but then you also need to wire it into a bunch of other mechanisms, right, to really capitalize on it. So looking forward to see what you guys come up with. 19607. Also, where's Mlag's long comment? He promised one. Let's see, back multiplying. U17 in Casio 8. Oh no, what's going on? Well, let me do this active. Okay. Long comment will be posted in a couple of minutes. Okay, I'll keep. I'll stay here scrolled. Okay, so what is the next feature that we need to implement? Yeah, we're getting lower. What is the next feature that we want to implement? So we're watching directories as we should. Right, the point is, we want to test this with the Zig website. We probably want to not break the user experience on the Zig website. And the problem is that we are not handling correctly build dependencies. So I think it's time that we do build dependencies for real. You know what? Let's do also this. Sorry, not build dependencies, like build assets. And as while we're at it, we probably also want to turn build assets from CLI arguments to one file that gets passed as a CLI argument individually, and inside the file are all the CLI, are all the things. Although, wait, if we do this, how the fuck do you make it work with the build system? Does the Zig build system have a way of saying, look, there's a bunch of I want to turn all the CLI arguments actually into a file with the CLI arguments in them, because there's too many and the thing becomes too unwieldy too quickly. Is there a feature like that? Probably not. Maybe I should open an issue about it. Okay, let's just get just make build assets working for now. That's not that important. So serve has the problem that turns out that actually the serve command is more complicated than this, because it needs also to parse build assets. There could be. Yeah. Oh, you're saying there could already be because of args file. Where would we see this? It would be in a step run, right? Let's see, argv. See also argv and our args to modifying these directly. env map, disable Zig progress, SDIO file inputs, rename steps, skip failing to execute, tap output file, has side effects, fast tests, cached, repeat executable producer. Yeah, I don't think it's here. Function, set name, enable test runner mode, artifact arg, prefix artifact arg. I mean, if there was any support for this stuff, I would imagine it would have to be in here, right? Some kind of thing that add prefix output file argument. No, this is just adding prefixes related, blah, blah, blah. Wait, why is there so many comments to this? Uh, Head check. Yeah, I don't think there's support for any of this stuff. Unfortunate. We should have it because it's actually, yeah, kind of necessary in my opinion. Okay, let's see. Big comment. Oh my god, big comment, huh? For real. So the proposal mentions that it could go a long way towards solving issues with these guys. And let me elaborate on that and discuss how I personally see this working. So safe recursion is basically the same problem as build function to tell you the maximum stack size of a given function. Built-in function. Stack size. Okay. We want to be able to statically determine the amount of stack space required of a function. The issue is also a major blocker for async await stuff or similar language level coroutine ideas. The problem is function pointers hide a part of the call graph from the compiler, so you can't know it statically. That means we can statically know the stack size in these cases. Perhaps that wouldn't be a problem if we didn't use runtime function pointers much. However, we use them everywhere. Most notably, allocator is one of those guys. This is a huge problem. For other readable interfaces, we could at least think about having to allocate new stacks to use those calls, but to allocate, you need an allocator, and we can require allocation before calling into an allocator. Enter this proposal. Let's redefine allocator readable to look like these. Comments omitted for brevity. So alloc, resize, remap, and free are like special unique types of functions of that signature, blah, blah, blah. Anything creating an allocator table uses a locally on these four functions. Perhaps we provide a wrapper in allocator for doing this. I don't know. This way, when the compiler sees a virtual call to vtable.alloc, it knows precisely the set of functions that the call might be referring to. Okay, so let's reconsider 157 stack size on a function which somewhere in static call graph calls into a vtable free. We'd have to consider the full set of possible functions, and from that, determine the worst case of these functions. Essentially, we extend the call graph with edges. This means that if any of these functions can themselves call into free, we get an error about a recursive call. There's a major unresolved question here, which I will cover below. Just like you would for direct recursion. Because we need to know the full set of possible callees for this. Stack size cannot be early known at comp time. We need to wait for all analysis to conclude in order to gather the full set of potential callees to determine the maximum possible stack usage. So given the stack size cannot be eagerly comp time known, there are two options. It is runtime known. It is a comp time known lazy value, which is a compare error to ever resolve. Does allow callee only work on comp time known functions? Yeah. It has to. Let's think about avoiding Stack Overflow then. Oh wait, no. Option 2 doesn't seem very reliable in practice. What good really is a comp time known value if you can resolve it? You can store it in a global. That seems of dubious usefulness. For now, I will assume the first option. Well, I don't know if it's that. Well, wait a second. Yeah, you can store it in a global. I don't know. Maybe you can do linker shenanigans with it. In any case, yeah, that definitely in any case is kind of a weirdo thing. Let's think about avoiding Stack Overflow then. First, consider the case where we don't want to use recursion. My knowledge in this area was a little shaky, so I confirmed with Alex RP that the main thread stack size is basically set in one of two ways. We embed it in a binary, and the OS respects this and provides us with a stack of this size. For instance, Windows does this. The OS provides us with a default stack size, and we need to manually resize it at runtime with the desired stack size, which we pull from somewhere. For instance, Linux does this with set our limit. In the first case, we can embed stack size into the binary. This is fine because we can resolve this value. Stack size of whatever the entry point is. Because we can resolve this value at the end of semantic analysis and patch it into the binary. In the latter case, std start code could just literally use stack size and reserve that match space. Either way, everything is fine. Now, yeah, I think you're basically saying the same thing. It's like maybe you can use it for, I don't know, substantially linker shenanigans or not. Now let's think about recursion. Direct recursion under 157 and 1006, built-in function and safe recursion becomes a compile error because the required stack size is theoretically infinite. Instead, you need to allocate a new stack for the call somewhere else, perhaps using async await or some other mechanism. In this case, what you would probably do is something like GPA alloc stack size of recursive function, yeah. You allocate this I think I get the general idea, although can it actually be stack size? Because you would want stack size of a recursive function to tell you that's not exactly the stack size, is it? Well, let me think. So can you set stack size of a recursive function to the size from the call to the recursive call? Would that not break anything else? I'm by the way, I'm just wondering about the semantics of stack size. That's it. Like just whether this would be like some kind of like whether you would need like a second one. The recursive call is not included in stack size. Okay. Okay, so wait. So then how do I know that I need to do a heap allocated call? Because I get a compile error. Right. So the error has nothing to do with stack size itself. It's some other mechanism that gives me a compile error, and then I can just use stack size. Okay. Then use the buffer. Wait, and use that buffer as the new stack. Of course, alloc itself is a table call, but that's fine because allocators are not recursive. Again, there's an unsolved problem there. I will discuss below. If you've guessed it by now, have a cookie. I don't know. Is that recursiveness of some kind in the allocator somewhere? I don't know. So this proposal allows implementing stack size sanely in common with table cases and consequently solves 1006 if you have a direct function pointer call for any reason. Stack size could probably be made to work at runtime for arbitrary runtime function pointers, so you can allocate the necessary stack at runtime. One major concern I have with this is how it interacts with arenas. Okay. Arena allocator is an implementation of allocator, which can itself call into other allocator implementations. This is problematic because it makes all calls through a table potentially recursive. That's not a deficiency in the system either. You absolutely could nest an arena in an arena in an arena. I don't think there's any reasonable use case for this. Yeah, no. I'm not quite sure how we could solve this, but I'm almost certain that it would involve changing arena locator rather than amending this proposal in some way. For example, arena locator could become generic over a concrete implementation, or perhaps it calls into a new arena backing table. So the problem is, if you make an arena, if you make an arena inside of an arena, now you're made the arena locator recursive, and now the arena locator is basically unusable for this purpose. Well, it becomes problematic in a few ways, right? But most importantly, it becomes unusable for this case here. I mean, the same technically could be true if you try to make a GPA on top of a GPA. I don't know if GPA accepts child allocators, or if it just defaults to the page allocator. Sorry, like it hard codes the page allocator instead of just defaulting to it. But I guess you could do the same problematic thing with pretty much every one of these guys. Cool. It accepts an allocator. Okay, so then you can create weird stuff. Also in other situations. I don't know. This is very interesting. Like this is really nice. I would be curious to see this move forward and see where it lands. It seems very promising. I just don't have enough insight to, really understand all the implications. But I'm looking forward to see where you guys bring this. One use cases I've been wondering about is passing an arena to something that expects a GPA. Yeah. I think there are some arguments in favor of having an arena not be a normal allocator, but instead be something else, in my opinion. And then you only occasionally grab from an arena a normal allocator interface. I don't know if this would solve these use cases, so I'll leave you guys to think about that more in detail. But let me present you a case for why you might want to do this regardless of what's going on here. I think there are two interesting things here. One is that if we were to pass arenas around by implementation and not by interface, or I don't know, like a separate interface, whatever it is, like just not a normal allocator interface, is basically that if you do that, then you gain two abilities. Well, no, let's say that you gain one main ability, the ability to create sub arenas, which I think it would be pretty nice to be able to do. The concept of a sub arena is this, basically. You can think of it is what Andrew was mentioning as a frame. But basically, the sub arena is like you have an arena, and then you say, I'm going to pass to this other function a sub arena. And then when the function returns, I'm going to not reset the entire arena, but I'm only going to reset the arena up to that like water level in a sense. So it's a linear thing. You can nest those sub arenas, but obviously they have to be used linearly, right? Because it's kind of like using the arena a bit like a stack. And I think that occasionally it is nice, the idea to say, I'm gonna pass this arena to this arena for another function. But then after that, I don't want to reset it fully. I just want to reset it back to where we were before that function. That would be nice. So maybe arena should just be a separate thing. in my opinion, as you move it around, and then you only make an allocator out of it occasionally. I don't know if that would help at all, but just an idea. Okay, let's go parse build assets. Enough yapping. At least on my part. You guys can yap as much as you want in chat. Hey X2. Okay, where do we grab this code? This code is inside of build. Here we do parse, and here we parse build assets. And I think that CLI options should not be in build at this point. CLI options needs to live in a more general space. Although to be fair, it's only build assets that we care about. To be fair, it's only build assets that we care about. And we can't even reuse the full parse function. We need to copy paste code. There might be better ways of packaging this, but I'm not gonna worry about it now. There we go. This is the code that we want. Oh, here instead of doing else if, we did continue, and fatal at the end instead of an else. I don't know what's the better approach. Should it be if else if, or should it be continue instead of every if? Hmm. 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 Else if starts with build asset equal sign. Oh, for build asset, we are not even supporting both styles. We're only supporting one style of everything, because this is not inputted manually by the user. This is like done by programs. So that makes sense, actually. I think a build asset should live in root at this point. Hmm. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna just fix it. User declared an infrared GPA. Oh no. We need an allocator in parse now. And now this is a try. Okay. So now we should be able to parse these things also here. The problem is we have these guys now in this command, and we don't have a way of passing them to run while we definitely need to. So we need to run needs to accept things. Where it's gonna need to accept more things than this. But for now, at least it needs to have cmd dot build assets. At this point, I think it needs the whole CFG. It needs CFG and CLI. You know what? Let's actually make this change. So let's assume that now run wants us to provide CFG and CLI like this. God damn it. Let's see what people are saying. What if Arena could return an allocator interface or an Arena interface that doesn't have remap free? Yeah, let's say that this is going to be my new interface. God damn it. CFG and CLI. Although CLI options has build assets and output their path. Oh no, and CFG also has an arena. CFG also has an arena because we parse it as a JSON file pretty much. That's annoying because it means that we kind of need to bundle this thing in there. So we need to have the CFG needs to keep the arena inside of itself. So it can't be outside anymore. So it can't just be a union. Oh no! Dude, why are you doing this to me? Wait a second. Wait a second. What are we doing here? Can we keep... Oh yeah, I'm being hit hard by my past self. No, you know what though? My past self didn't do a particularly bad job. My past self just did what made sense for the main use case of just building the website. But now we're adding like a new weird mode of building the website. And I did account for those possibilities at the time, but it's like it's fine. Obviously, if you can, predict what you're gonna need precisely, then great, you do it, and then everything is better. But sometimes you just can't. It's part of nature, so it's part of life. So you just need to, just adapt the code. At the end of the day, code kind of like grows organically. It's kind of like a live organism, right? When like bones start small, then they grow up, and then you have like then you grow like a bunch of teeth. Up to a point, and then you drop all of them and you switch to a new set of teeth. That kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, either grows or rots. That's a very good point. Yes, much like other organic stuff. So now we need to find a place for that freaking arena. So what I think we should do at this point is say that CLI options and config are kind of owned externally, and so we don't free them. Like, they're here for convenience because people want to be able to access them, but then we say that they're owned externally. Maybe we even make them pointers. We say owned externally. Global static? No. Or, well, they could be made global, sure. A few of these things could actually be made global if we really wanted to. Although, again, it depends. Maybe it's nice up until the one day where you say, no, I want to have in one executable 3 different websites happening at the same time or something. At which point you don't want them to be like that anymore. No, but there's also other concerns because there's other modules, other dependencies that need to be able to access these things. Whatever. In any case, it's fine. Let's pass in CFG and CLI. Then config. We move away from here. And we move to root. So root now has the config type definition. Now the problem with CLI options is that it's too opinionated. CLI options is really too opinionated because in reality, this is all starting to make a lot of sense, by the way. This refactoring is so good. So in reality, CLI options, there is no one CLI options. There's a CLI option for each command, and they're going to be slightly different. They might have overlap, sure, but they're not going to be the exact same. So this CLI options is options for Zig release. But then I think these need to become 2 separate options that get passed separately. Either that or this becomes something else. Okay, so I think that's how we should do it. Instead of CLI options, we call it build options, maybe. And it's like, okay, so here's the build assets, and then output their path. But then there should be something more, because it's not just, there should be something like this, output mode. And then this is a union enum. And then here we say, like disk. So we're outputting to disk. And if we are outputting to disk, then sure, you can specify an output dir path. What's the problem, man? What is the problem? Oh, it's here that causes the thing to not parse, I guess. Yeah, it's weird though that we get an error up here, but oh well. And then we say options. Build options, something like this. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna need to do this refactoring now. because I need to make this thing more. Oh, one thing too many. Okay, so that's how it is. So build options, build assets, which defaults to empty, and then output mode is disk, and if it's on disk or memory. But then there should be some extra stuff in the case of outputting to memory, maybe. So here's this connects back to showing errors on the page. So maybe this is worth explaining a little bit. So here's the core point here. When you're building a website normally, you scan the content directories, parse the pages, analyze everything, run the templates, produce output artifacts, and then you want to install this stuff in an output directory. When you are doing Zine serve instead, things are slightly different. When you're running Zine serve, you don't, right now, Zine serve works like this. We build the website, start a web server that serves files from the output directory, and then every time an input file changes, we rebuild the website, change the files in the output directory, and also trigger a refresh in the web browser. The web browser asks for the same page to our web server. The web server reads the file from disk and sends it over to the web page. And you realize that this is kind of dumb because there's a lot of back and forth that we can skip. So how would a more optimized pipeline look like? You start Zine serve, you change an input file, we detect the change in your input file, we rebuild the website, ideally with caching. Right now we don't have caching, so we rebuild everything. But we rebuild everything, and then we don't install shit in the output directory. We do not install anything. What we do instead is we serve all these assets from memory. So you ask for a given page. We have the page because we built it, but we never saved it to disk. We kept the page in memory, and now from memory we send it over. And so that removes a bunch of steps because you skip an install step. That's probably like 5 milliseconds that you save yourself, something like this. And yeah, everything becomes just faster. And you do less work, and it's better. Also, there's another good aspect of it. If you only serve files from the install directory and you're not careful about it, what happens is that if a file used to exist but now doesn't exist anymore, for example, let's say that you have a page that has draft set to false, and you change that and you set draft set to true, now that page doesn't exist anymore. So now the web server should say 404, this page does not exist. But then if your step to install stuff in the output directory never deletes old stuff, then you will still have the problem. And this is, by the way, a bug in current Zine, and I suspect this is probably a bug also in most, if not all, other static-site generators. If you base this on a directory, either you nuke the directory every single time, like you delete all of it and then you recreate it every single time, or otherwise you will be serving stale assets, and that will get people confused. So by doing everything from memory, it's perfect because in memory you know exactly what it is, what are the files that you have around, and then you want to serve. And yeah, we just fixed the arena problem. New comment time. Wait, did you write already the comment? Oh man, I closed the tab. I shouldn't have. Or are you making the comment now? It will take a few minutes. Okay. It happened 2 seconds ago. Okay, so you guys need to flash to disk. Okay, go flash to GitHub. Okay, so we want to have output mode be memory sometimes, and that becomes options, and that becomes available in the build. So it's not going to be CLI arguments anymore. It's going to be CFG, build assets, and then output mode. So no more like CLI. That's fine. Because it's not necessarily CLI. Like the CLI concept shouldn't concern this thing anymore. Oh, this is so good. I'm so happy with this new change. Um, so this is a config. We need to move over multilingual website and yeah. So CL options is going to go away from here. Let's move over these guys. They do belong in root, actually. Oh, man. Like, these things are all starting to find their rightful place. This is so good. Let's see. Site. Multilingual site. Locale. Build asset. Probably, you know what? We can move build asset at the top before site, because site references it already, I think. Actually, no, never mind. They do not reference any of this stuff, right? The old version of these guys did. Okay. Then build asset, config. Actually, build asset can move below config. And then we have build options. We can just call it options at this point. Contains build assets. Output mode. Perfect. There will probably be more stuff. Also, I think that when in memory, or actually maybe even regardless of these guys, to show errors on the page, we also need to pass in some other parameter that allows this function to output errors to something that isn't just the terminal. So we need to do that. Okay, this is all starting to take like a very nice shape. I'm loving this. I'm actually genuinely loving this. Fucking finally. Okay, so I was saying that this guy needs to move away. Yes. So here, CLI options is not evil. It's just that it actually belongs to a specific command. So you're coming with me now. And we're going to release. Now release here has a command. Yes, right. We made this command, but we said that we didn't know what to put there. We didn't have anything to put here because this is actually the real command. These are the CLI options. So this is not CLI options anymore. This is now command. And we need to know what a build asset is. Okay. So now this command this is the actual command for that guy. We lost the help menu printing though. Right, so here we have the normal fatal help. Okay, give me this. So release. Zine release. Debounce. Do we none of these things are going to be important. What command specific options does release have? Actually, so far none, pretty much. So far none, pretty much. So except, well, yeah, the build assets one. So let's like be optimistic and let's imagine that we have already the final version of this stuff. build assets path. Yeah, something like this. Technically, we could have multiple. We could even accept many of those, not only one. But in any case, okay, we're being optimistic about this, but it's fine. So when we're parsing, we're saying if it's H, look, we were doing fatal help. No, dude, we don't do fatal help. I think I'm changing from. You know what? I think I'm changing this from the continuous style to the other style, to the else style. Fuck it. Else wins over continue. I've decided. We could even do an expected CLI argument and then print the help menu. To be honest, that's not a bad idea. With all due respect, this is not a bad idea, honestly. Oh, but we have other fatals in there. Okay, fuck it. I'm not gonna do it now. Okay, fine. Let's see the new comment. After some discussion, we figured out a solution for the arena allocator issue, which doesn't require any significant API changes. It serves to demonstrate that this is truly a general purpose mechanism which should work for all kinds of the table. Here's how to think about it. The general approach to recursion, which is what arenas are actually effectively doing, is heap allocating a new frame for the recursive call. Okay. So we want to heap allocate a new frame. For example, in arena allocator alloc for the recursive call. However, we can't allocate the frame without calling into alloc. So we seem to be stuck. Key insight, we can allocate that frame ahead of time. So here's how the init looks like. Stack buffline is max between things. You alloc that on the beginning allocator. And then you have a stack buffer. The key insight here is that because arena allocator.init isn't anywhere in any table, we can safely do this allocation directly. It doesn't matter if baking is another arena allocator because that allocator already has its own stack buff for calling its own backing allocator. So if arena allocator wants to alloc from its baking allocator, it looks something like this. New stack call. Okay. So does that mean that you do this every single time? So that means that you do this unconditionally, basically. Like even if the child allocator doesn't cause recursion, you still do the call this way. Is either all you need to get started with Helix? I would say so. Maybe I actually didn't even do tutor. Maybe I did. Did I do tutor? That's probably fine. Yeah. For me, what really made a difference is having these menus that tell me what it's available on every different mode. Like these menus are really great, and they're very consistent and very clear. It's so nice. So then having something like tutor that like kind of gets you started, it's great. But then the only thing that you need is, you know, the mental bandwidth to take some time and test stuff out and you know, internalize how to approach problem solving with your text editor. I feel like I'm in a pretty decent position. Like there's always the thing where, oh, you know, people remind me, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. So I'm not a guru, but the day to day is pretty nice as is. Like I have no complaints whatsoever. Okay, so what was I doing? I was refactoring everything. So we now have that we have a command. We have a proper command now, and that makes us call into run correctly. So CFG we don't have, so we're gonna need to create functions for parsing the CFG, which means that we will own the CFG. Basically, we're gonna keep the CFG arena out here, and that's it. And that's actually fine. Actually, it doesn't even be to have. It doesn't even have to be an arena. We can even like leak it, depending on what we want to do, because we parse it only once. CFG, well, at least for now. And then for options, what do we want to do? We want build assets to be our build assets. And we want mode to be disk output mode. They call it mode? I think I just called it mode. Hey, nickname dev. Expect a comma after argument. Yeah. There we go. So we run with a CFG that we don't have for now. We say that the build assets is the ones that we collected here. We say that the mode is disk with a output dir path that we might or might not have received from the CLI, which is fine. Which could actually not even be optional at this point. We might want to... No, we want it to be optional because of how we resolved it, actually. If I think about it right. Yeah, we could do early resolution, but it doesn't matter, whatever. Okay, so this is all good. Still, CFG is missing. Let's go into serve. Let's look at the usage pattern from serve, and then we go into the CFG stuff. So we don't have CFG. What about CLI? Well, it's our command, right? Our command has build assets in this case, so that's what we pass down. And then mode is going to be disk. And that's it. Okay, so now, and what's cool about this is that we don't even need to do this here because the build only has to happen in here. The build only has to happen in here. So we could just trigger a change. Okay, let me delete here. and then go here and replace this. Here we create it. Can even make it const if we want to. Hopefully that's not a problem. And then here we the init. We can even defer the init. There we go. There we go. I'm loving this. Okay, so this goes in here. Now there's the problem where we thought that we needed to grab certain stuff from inside of build, but now we can grab them directly from CFG, which doesn't exist yet, but we just need to make come into existence. Okay, so here we need to say const CFG equals something. Config equals dot load or something. It doesn't exist yet. We need to make it. I'm gonna pass the GPA. We leak it. Doesn't matter. And then we do yeah. What do we do? It's called load with GPA. That's it. Actually, I don't think it needs anything more than that. So this code was previously. Oh, look at this. And then here we switch on CFG, not build.cfg. Here we don't do any random de-initting. Yeah, this is so much better now. Oh man, this is so good. So next is we go into build, and now we deal with CFG not being a thing anymore. Also, we don't do any of these things anymore. We don't have CLI options anymore. We have those arguments explicit. So we have build assets as a pointer, maybe. A pointer. We copy this stuff. Too much indirection. Maybe these things should not be in here at all. And we pass them explicitly around. And we just stuff them inside the context in a non-nested fashion. I'm going to experiment with not having either of them in here and just to see what happens. Maybe we'll put them back. Okay, so I don't know. Here we have load. There we go. So this load function here, GPA, arena, arguments, CLI options. Let's not do CLI options anymore. So this CWD stuff, this is all for the CFG. Okay, let's isolate the CFG loading code from everything else. It's kind of like this. Okay, let's see. What do we do in load? Also, why do you not like this? Am I missing a curly? I'm missing a curly. So in load, we need an arena. So let's assume that we are given an arena. A GPA and an arena. We get the current working directory. We make a CFG arena for the config. No, let's not do this. Let's not do this. You know what? Just give me an arena and we do everything with that. Although one arena for Scratch and one arena for the config itself is not a bad idea. But fuck it. Everything is an arena. No double arena. Config file base name. Oh. Okay, so we read mm-hmm. Okay, so this works. Unused local constant CFG. Because that's what we return. Okay, so now config has a load function. What problems do we have in here? This guy doesn't know what to do with these guys. Okay, sure. Let's go now in release. We now know how to get our hands on a CFG. Okay, so here we grab the CFG, then we pass it down, build assets, it's what in our command. Mode is disk, output path is if we had any in our command. This is good. This is really good. Also with assets, so output dir path is actually a CLI argument that I forgot about. What do we, it's install, no, output. I guess we can even omit this one. Okay, not bad. So we have this. Now this all seems to make sense. The problem is if we now change the layout of these things, there's a bunch of other code depends on the previous data layout, and if we change it now, we need to change a bunch of things. It's not that bad, but it's a bunch of compile errors that needs to be fixed. But I guess we can do it. So how do we make it work? Here we're making a build and we're making a build by calling build.load. What does build.load do? Right, now we also need to fix build.load because I think it's not doing super well. So let's see. Build.load shouldn't accept any argument. It should accept a CFG. Sure. There's a base dirt path that we don't know what it is that we need to think about. And then I think everything else should be fine. The difference that we don't have these three things anymore. Okay, we just need base dirt path basically compared to what we already have. So yeah, let's assume that this is the duty of the color to provide that to us. And also output dirt path. Oh. We need to be given these two things. Here we decide, here we made the decision that it should be public or else. Interesting. Maybe these decisions should be made. No, because we need to do make open path. No, but we make open path no matter what the thing is. Oh, whatever. Fine. Okay. We don't need an arena anymore. Interesting. So no more arena to this guy. No more arguments, but instead we pass options dot. Oh. We need to pass mode. We actually need to pass mode because if it's memory, then we don't do this. Yeah. Yeah, we need to pass mode. And then we need that base there. What is that base there thing? Base there path. I guess that's something that we need to return as well. Because we discover here is where we discover the base there path. We made this function return that. Do we put this inside config? Honestly, I'm starting to think that config really would benefit from not just being a naked union. The problem is that then, man, it's annoying because then this guy becomes way more annoying to access. It's already annoying, but it becomes even more annoying. It becomes even more annoying. I think I'm actually passing these out. This signature is not. This signature is not the nicest ever. But what can you do? I guess we could take out the error. Honestly, maybe that's not a bad idea. We take out the error, put it on a single line. Now it's not bad. Then we go in serve. Now we go in release. We take this out. We remove the try. We go back into the load. Oh, come on. We put it here. And now we don't need to return anything anymore. Okay, so now this signature is nicer. Now everything is nicer. Let's do the actual correct return stuff. Base dir path. So now base dir path turns out it needs to be a value of disk. You have to specify it. It can't be null. Even the other one, let's force both of them to be specified. So they both have to be present. And then, yeah, so that's what we give to build load. That's perfect, actually. So let's go do this. This now becomes mode root.options.mode. And base dir path. So the ones that we care about are output. Oh shit, no, we do care about the base dir no matter what. Oh, interesting. This is, I got it wrong. This is actually unconditional. Base dir path is always present. Never mind. But we do care about mode. Maybe we could pass root options down here. Maybe this could just observe that directly. So base dir path is just options base dir path. That's always present. And now output dir path is only install base dir, install dir. This stuff here is conditional. Oh, Memory is undefined. Otherwise, .disk. The heck is installed base there defined in here? What am I missing? What am I missing? What did I do wrong? Wait, let me undo a bunch of stuff. Oh, it's because this thing existed one after the other. The problem is that then... Okay, I get it. So it's actually this that should be on the outside. It's installed there. They should be on the outside. Okay, that works. And I think I need to stop the streaming here. Okay, so this is not bad. Man, it's unfortunate that I need to leave. This is going so well. Memory, I'll leave it undefined. Debatable whether leaving it undefined is a good idea or not, but yeah. Oh, here we're duping base dirt path. Why are we duping base dirt path? Wait a second. We're duping base dirt path. Oh shit. We need to worry about the origins of base dirt path because it might be that we needed to dupe it. Now we need to do the dupe earlier. Yeah, we totally need to. Well, yeah, well, we absolutely need to. So let's move it here. Base dirt path is opt dot base dirt path. Okay, everything else seems fine. Install it there in this. Maybe I don't know if leaving it undefined is a good idea or not. Maybe we should make it optional. That could be something, right? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so these all make sense now. Let's go into config now. CWD path. Wait, what is it that we need to call? Kernel must free the returned memory. Okay, so it's heap allocated every single time. Oh, but it's in the arena, so who cares? It's in the arena. So, but the problem is, what happens? Oh, this is now everything in the arena, so we don't need to do anything anymore. Okay, so this is it. So thank you all for hanging out. This is going pretty well. Unfortunately, I'm not stopping in a nice point where you can run stuff because we still have stuff that needs to be fixed. But this is such a good refactoring, man. This is like clearly separating concerns so naturally. Like I don't have to even think about it hard myself. I just need to do what needs to be done, and it automatically moves itself toward the right direction. And yeah, so with this, we're gonna have a kick-ass serve. We're gonna have like I'm setting myself in not yet commit time because it doesn't even build yet, but I will continue tonight and on my own, and then I will probably be able to commit later. So we are basically getting to a point where all these things are going to be like, we're setting ourselves for success a lot with the ability to show errors on the page. Like it's, we're getting there. It's like so nice. Okay, thank you all for hanging out. Let me see if there's anybody that we should raid. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a day. You know what? I think I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to be lazy and I'm not going to raid anybody.